Yeah, hi everyone. It's Michael Ballack, live from Doha, Qatar. V9Bet invited me to come over to get some impressions over the country, and of course, especially the World Cup 2022. I arrived yesterday, and I have been around the city this morning to do a little bit of sightseeing before I go to the World Cup game tonight between Netherlands and the USA. So yeah, how was it? I came just over from Germany, pretty cold, and arrived yesterday evening quite late. And straight away I got aware of the big skyscrapers after seeing a lot of desert, during my landing. And yeah, this morning I went out quite early. Yeah, it was quite hot, 25, 28 degrees. So we went into the car to go around a bit. My first impression, of course, was in between the big skyscrapers to see all the players, which are huge on the buildings. Mostly, the big, the most talented players from each country. From Germany, it was Manuel Neuer, the goalkeeper, who was very impressive on a very big street. Yeah, that was my first impression. Then we went to a local market. We saw some typical buildings from the area, and also we went to the harbor to see some ships, some big ships, and also the skyline, from the other side. So it was really impressive. And yeah, it was quite hot in between. I've seen, of course, a lot of fans wearing different shirts. Argentinian fans, of course, they're playing tonight as well. I've seen quite a lot, also some Dutch fans. It's quite a pretty mix on a very close area come together in Doha, which the city is, as you know. There's a lot of stadiums here, and I've seen not all, but quite a few, and they're really impressive too, because they're really close to each other. And normally, if you're hosting a World Cup, you have the different stadiums quite far away. You have to go by bus or by plane to visit different cities, and here everything is pretty close. I think that's the most different thing what comes along in my opinion compared to other World Cups so far. And we came back a few hours later, so we had some lunch, had some rest, and now I'm talking to you. And of course, people ask me what's so special about the World Cup, especially in Qatar. What makes the World Cup special? And you saw. That was my impression. They were really well prepared. Here everything looks very clean. Everything is protected. The streets are protected and gated, and there's a lot of signs for the World Cup. Of course, a lot of advertisement around the World Cup. So anywhere you go, there's something connected with the World Cup. A lot of signs, as I mentioned, and you could see Qatar is really prepared for that. For a lot of people coming here, and people are very polite at the hotel, so at the reception. It's a lot of stuff, so I feel very welcome. From the match tonight, also people asking me, of course, or unfortunately, Germany is out. So that was was a bit of a shock for us, for everybody from us, especially who's connected with Germany and who's supporting the German team. We were really surprised that we went out in that group stage again, which is a big disappointment for us. Yeah, but it is like it is, so we have to accept it. We have to looking forward for the next challenges, and of course being very critical with ourselves. But for tonight, for the match Netherlands against the USA, I expect maybe a little bit in favorite position the Netherlands, of course, because of the history and of their ambitions and strength. They came out as first of a not quite easy group. From my perspective, they played not at their best level so far, but they have very talented players. Traditionally, very talented players, technical players, especially the young in midfield who gives the pace. And also Gakpo, of course, a very talented player who scored already 3 goals in the tournament, one with the left, one with the right, one with a header, midfield player. I wouldn't say comparable with myself, but he has some physical aspects and some movements and some ways he's going into the match where I see myself as well, because yeah, he likes to go in the box, he likes to score goals, and of course he's one of the players where the people have an eye on it, and I'm sure for tonight he will be in focus as well. And of course the American team, as one of the hosts for the next World Cup, very young team, very ambitious too, very physical side. They love to attack the offense, and they love to do high pressing and keep the pace high with a very strong midfield with Adams as a captain, former RB Leipzig player, and also McKennie on his side. Yeah, 2 players who are loving or love to have dominance in midfield, physical dominance, and also Pulisic, of course, as one of their key players up front, who loves to go in dribblings, who loves the 1v1, and yeah, very flexible player, one of the, as I mentioned, key players. I reckon will be very difficult for the Netherlands, and so I expect an attacking American team. I don't think they will sit back, and they're looking for their chance offensively. That's the way they play. I don't think they are paying too much attention on the team they face, which is Netherlands today. I think they want to play their game, and their game is attacking football, quick transition. So let's see. People ask me also, is there any surprises in the World Cup so far? I mean, most all the favorites went through their group stage. They came out of the group, as I mentioned. Germany, as for myself, one of the better teams. This is maybe the biggest surprise who went out in the group stage. I already mentioned, because with the players we have, we should do better, especially in that makeable group. But it is like it is. Japan did a fantastic job. They beat us. They beat Spain as well. So finally, with 4 points, we went out, and that's, of course, it's a big disappointment for us. Beside that, I think Australia, for me, was one of the positive surprises in the tournament, to go through in a very tough group with Denmark. They kicked out Denmark, which is also a surprise in the negative side, because this is one of the teams beating France in the Nations League twice, with high expectations also going in this tournament. For me, it's a surprise. But on the other side, you see, if one goes out, one comes in, and that's Australia. And let's see how far they can go. Even they have a tough opponent with Argentina. tonight as well. So let's see this. And of course, South Korea last night also with a very lucky end, a very late goal. But football, as we saw, especially this World Cup, is not just about 90 minutes. It's about sometimes 100 and more. So that was also something what surprised me at this World Cup, that the extra time is so high and so long. And I think it's also something where the players and also the referees and the fans have to adapt. But it is for every team the same, so that's something on the side. I also want to talk about some players. They surprised me so far in a positive way. I also want to begin with the German one, even if we went out from the tournament. I think Jamal Musiala is one of our youngest players, but also one of our best players, not just at Bayern Munich. Last season he developed really quick, really fast, in a very positive way. Also here in the World Cup, where there's always more pressure and more eyes on you. It's not easy for such a young man to perform, and I think that's what he did. He did a really good job. He was one of the players who could make the difference, and I felt sorry, especially for him as well, that he went out in his first World Cup so early. Also Gakpo, I mentioned already for Holland. I think is a player who came with high expectations, and he delivered. He delivered in the way he's scoring goals, and that's something I think what makes always the difference for a team, to score goals and to score especially the 1-0, which makes a huge difference, having a huge impact on the game. And I also was really impressed by Enner Valencia from Ecuador, the way he scored his goals, even if they went out as well in a very difficult group, but especially him doing so well over years, and could score such good goals at this World Cup. I found really impressive. And of course, if we talk about the big guys, I have to mention, of course, France. I'm really impressed of Griezmann, of his performance so far. I thought he had a difficult season, but Antoine Griezmann, the way he's playing from the first game, and what dominance and what impact he has in between this group of world-class players, was impressive to see, because I didn't really expect that he's a really good player. We all know, but the way he's playing was really good, and even last game he scored, and next to Mbappe, I think one of the not just most valuable player, also youngest and well-known players in the world. I think we will see much more from him in the next games, but he's also already one of the players who you could see always makes a difference in the game. And then I come immediately or straight away to my favorites for this tournament, which was Brazilian, Argentinian and France before the World Cup. And I still have to say Brazil for me is one of the biggest favorites next to France from what I saw. Of course, they rested some players in the third group match, Brazil and France, so you cannot really judge them on the performance on the third match, but I'm sure if they're back with the first 11, with the best 11, we've seen a different Brazil and a different France as well. So that's not unusual to rest some players if you can do it, and they could, because of course they won the first 2 matches, so that's why I think the coaches decided for that. But for me, these are the 2 teams which have the best chances to reach the final, and especially Brazil. If you see the amount of amazing creative players up front, it's outstanding. But also the balance is really good between midfield and the defense. Key player, of course, Casemiro in the game is always difficult. Like in the earlier years, Dunga had this position, and they did really well, and everyone talked about the attacking players. But I think for Brazil it's even more important to have this balance in the defense, and with Thiago Silva, of course, Marquinhos, they have 2 very, very experienced players, and Casemiro up front. So I think they're well prepared for everything. So, yeah, there is some more questions from your side, and I'm trying to first read them, of course, and trying to answer them as well. 1 second. Yeah, one question is, what's your most memorable World Cup moment, Michael, when I played? Yeah, of course, it was my first one, 2002. There were really a lot of positive impressions. First group match against Saudi Arabia, we won 8-0. I could score a goal in my first World Cup in Sapporo. Was really impressive, but also going through this group stage in not an easy way, but one of the most important goals I scored, of course, in the semi-final against South Korea. The 1-0 was one of my most important goals, but on the other side, I conceded the second yellow card, which put me out of the final. So there were a really emotional moment for me in a positive and a negative way in the same match, which, can you imagine, it's tough, but of course it was a memorable moment. Yeah, I hope I could give you some impressions of my trip, myself, and also Doha. I hope I will have some more tonight in the stadium, and yeah, we'll take you guys, and hope you enjoy as well. So see you soon.